Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Kemi, and I'm here to talk about Beyond the Gates Season 2, Episode 54. Now, before we begin, make sure you guys are liking, subscribing, and turning on your post notifications so you'll know whenever I post. All right, so we start the episode off with Anita and Vernon, and Vernon is watching Anita sleep. So, she sleep on the couch and he's watching her sleep and he's saying, he loves her and that she's his world. She wakes up and she didn't realize that she had overslept. She's supposed to be meeting. She's saying, I have to get ready because she's supposed to be meeting Dani and Nicole at the club or whatever, at the country club. But she's in so much pain. So Vernon is just like, you know what, enough of this. We go into the hospital. She's not trying to go because she's afraid if she goes, she's not going to leave. He's just like, no, I'm not listening to you. We going to the hospital. So he takes her to the hospital. They get to the hospital and they run into Shanice, Dr. Monica, and Ashley, and they're all, worried about her. Dr. Monica asked her, what pain level are you at? And she's just like, it's high. It's like a 10 or a 12 or something like that. She said it's high. So they get her admitted. Um, they get her admitted. Um, Dr. Monica takes, no, Shanice takes um, Anita to the room, and he and Dr. Monica wants to talk to Vernon and ask him some questions, as he's, getting her information to get her admitted. So we see them again, and he is, he says he wants to. She's getting ready to ask him some questions, and she's just like, "Can we walk and talk?" He had called Nicole and Dani and told them about it or whatever. So they go walking and talk. We see Shanice is in the room and she's checking Anita's vitals, and Anita's asking her about the DNR and if her family will know. And Shanice tells her that, by law they can't say anything because of HIPAA and all that other good stuff or whatever. So she was just like, can you get me the form? Let's see. So yeah, so we see Shanice. She goes and she tells Vernon that she can go and see Anita. Sorry. She can go see Anita, and then she talks to Monica and she tells her, she asked me for the DNR form, and Monica is just like, she can do that. And Shanice is just like, I don't, she's just like, I want her to, she wants Monica to talk to her about it before she actually signs the paperwork or whatever. So we see Nicole and Dani. They're at the country club and they're talking about Vernon keeping them away from the house. But they're happy that they have an inside woman who can, give them updates on Anita or whatever, and Nicole talks about Kat not being good with change or something like that. And it's just like, girl, whatever. I'm not even gonna get on. Look, I'm not even gonna get um on this girl right now. Um Sorry. So yeah, so she's okay, so let's see what she says. They talk about Bill and him going to Anita's, and him, like, they talk about Bill going to see Dani, I mean going to see Anita, and then coming to see Dani afterwards or whatever, and how it affected Bill. Nicole is saying, um Nicole is saying, Dani is not going to make her feel bad for Bill. And I was with Nicole because, yeah, y'all not about to make me feel bad for Bill. I'm sorry. Just not gonna happen. Um, she said their parents took him in and treated him like a son, and he repaid them by breaking Dani's heart. So Dani mentions Nicole. I mean, she mentions Ted, and Nicole is just like, she's happily single, and Dani wants to talk about her dating life. And she wants to know where her head is at, like who she's choosing or whatever. She says on paper, Carlton lines up, and she And after she sees him, she wants to get to know more. But with Kyle, he's like no other man. It's like there's no other man that exists or whatever. So Dani says, in a perfect world, you could keep both of them, but she doesn't think that Carlton um, would be cool for that, because for as long as he's wanted to be Mr. Nicole. So Nicole tells her that Kyle gave her a key to his place, and Dani says so he did catch feelings, and Nicole says he wants her to have full access. So Dani says, it looks like there's a front runner in Nicole's heart, and Nicole says she doesn't want to do this to Carlton. She doesn't want to do Carlton like that, but Kyle is giving her something that she's been looking for, and it's an open door or whatever. So they get the call from Vernon. And they rush to go to the hospital or whatever. So we see Dani and Nicole. They're at the hospital. If I'm not mistaken, before they see Vernon, Nicole gets a call from Kat. Um, or no, yeah, Nicole calls Kat because she's just like, I don't want Kat to get home and be blindsided if they're not there. So she calls Kat to give her an update on what's going on. So Vernon meets with his girls, and let's see. Sorry. Okay, yeah. So Nicole calls Kat, and she tells them, Kat, that they're in the hospital. Kat wants to know if she should tell the family and she should come to the hospital, but Nicole is just like, no. If there's, we'll give you an update on it or whatever. And Kat says to tell Anita, and she like low key starts to break down, and I was just like, my poor baby. So she was just like, tell Anita that she was right about the book and the book that they were reading. And she says, um, I promised her that we made a pact that we wouldn't fawn. And Nicole is just like, it's okay. She understands. So she gets off the phone with her. They see Vernon. Vernon tells them, um, um, Vernon tells them about what's going on with Anita. Nicole gets like they see him. They ask what's going on. He says he can't really talk right now. He starts to talk and then he just stops talking, and then he gets this far off look in his eyes or whatever. So Nicole gets him water. He sits down, and they talk about, Vernon talks about all the things that the big C has taken from Anita, and they wonder what the doctor is saying. But then they find out about Monica and who she is and where she works. So they're happy that she's in good hands because, Monica is head of oncology in MD Anderson or whatever. So Vernon is telling them he thinks it's too late because Anita has given up. So we see, and I'm going to come back to that portion. We see Jacob, and he is meeting with Grayson on the elevator, and he is basically telling him that Max needs help to get out of the hospital. And Grayson is just like, dang, like you about to get me caught up. So Grayson tries to find out where Max is, and we see him him talking to Shanice and Ashley, and he's just like, oh, I'm supposed to be drawing blood. Shanice is looking in the file, and she's just like, well, he was discharged, so why are you drawing blood? And Ashley is just like, oh, well, maybe there was a cross, maybe there's a cross, maybe we don't see it yet or whatever. So Grayson finds out where Max is, and he leaves, and Shanice is just like, I don't see anything in here. Something ain't right. So Ashley's just like, oh, maybe he got his wires crossed. Let me go stop him before he draws the blood or whatever. So Grayson goes to Max, and he tells Max, they coming for you, and he gives him a way on how to get out or whatever. Ashley, let's see. Yeah, so Ashley comes, and she's just like, oh, there's no blood, there's no, what is it called? There's no paperwork or um there's nothing in the system saying that you need to do this, so I'm here to stop. I'm, telling you before you do it, or whatever. So he was just like, oh, okay, well, thanks you for giving me the update. She offers to to get a wheelchair to take Max down or whatever. And Grayson tells her, oh, he's waiting on his prescription or whatever. So she's just like, oh, okay, cool, let me go and get that or whatever. So she leaves and Max thanks him, and Grayson is just like, the only way you could thank me is by keeping your mouth shut or whatever. So Max dips. So um um Matt, sorry, Grayson is back at the nurses station or whatever, and Ash is just like, oh, she's getting ready to go give Max the prescription, and Grayson tells her that he left already. And Shanice is just like, maybe he's traumatized, after everything that happened, he was probably ready to go or whatever. She's just like, oh, okay, well, it is what it is. So Ashley and Grayson start talking, and he thought Ashley was working a night shift, and she was just like, she wants to finish the charts or whatever, because she got chewed out by the boss before. She wants to go to lunch, but he says he has other things to do today. So we see Smitty and Jacob, and they are back on the wall or whatever, of course. Jacob tells Smitty that he talked to Grayson, and um, he talked to Grayson and told Grayson how to help Max out or whatever. And Smitty is just like, I don't know about all that, but we about to see or whatever. So he doesn't know if Grayson is on his side. So Smitty, finds out that Max got out safe and he's taking him somewhere safe. So Jacob wants to go with him, but Smitty is just like, no, we don't want your cover to be blown or whatever. So Grayson meets Jacob back at this same wall or whatever. And Grayson tells him, that wasn't cool. You dropping in on me like that, and he can't do that again. Grayson gives him some insight onto who he is, and about his mama and why he's doing what he's doing or whatever. So Jacob calls Smitty, and he finds out that Max got to a safe place and he's settled or whatever. So he tells him he tried to get some info out of Grayson, but he couldn't. But they're going to keep working him. We see Kat and Tomas. They are at Orphe. They're at Orphe Jeans, and they're talking about her living with the Grands and Chelsea Cat. He tells her he doesn't want to. He tells her, he doesn't. She doesn't have to put on a brave face for him. And she tells him, she's going through a rough patch. She tells him that Anita's going through a rough patch, and he was right about seeing her like this up close. He says he wishes that Kat didn't. He wishes that she. He wishes that he wasn't right about it. And Kat says she wouldn't trade it for anything. She likes being there for Anita, and she likes she likes to have close ranks, and not she likes having that close rank and not letting anyone see, um you know oh no, she was saying that she likes being there for Anita because Anita likes to close ranks and not let anyone be there for her, but she's starting to let her walls down with Kat. He tells her that he's proud of her, and she feels honored that she's there for Anita, and he feels honored that she's able to speak with him like this. He lets her know that whatever she needs, he'll make it happen. That's when Kat gets the call from Nicole, and she breaks down or whatever, and Tomas is there for her, and she's worried that Anita won't come home. So the big part of the episode is we see Monica. She comes into the room to talk to Anita. Anita tells, because Vernon is in there with her, and Anita tells Vernon to go find the girls and answer any questions that they may have. He's like, not yet, but she was just like, just go. She got to talk to the doctor or whatever. So Anita says, I know you. Tells Monica she talked to Shanice, and Monica doesn't want want to lie to her. She says, I can't take the pain away, and I can't tell you that the pain won't get worse, but it does get better. Anita doesn't want to do this to her family. Monica tries to give her a pep talk, but Anita is not listening to it. Monica says, we're here to pinpoint the pain. And it may not even be cancer. Anita doesn't want to know what it is. She loves her body. It served her well, but it's failing her now, and her spirit wants to be free of it. Monica says, "Well, what about your family?" She doesn't want to watch her family hurt because she's hurting. Anita says she felt herself losing the last thing that has tied her to this body. She tried singing, but her throat was raw and it left a dry burning whisper, and it felt like glass when she tried to sing. She said her voice is hurt and it's gone. So she's already gone. Her family just doesn't know it yet. She wants to see the file. Or is she says, she wants the file, or is Monica going to stand there and act like she doesn't know her own mind? So Monica gives her the file, the form or whatever, the file with the form in it. Sorry. Um, Monica tells her, she had a patient that had the same kind of cancer. They fought it, it shrunk, but it did come back 18 years later. Anita laughs and like starts to cough, and she's just like, "Is this your idea of a good story?" Monica tells her goal is time. She doesn't have she doesn't have any Dupree, and she asks her, "Don't you have any Dupree milestones that you want to see?" Anita says so many, but she isn't going to pull focus away from them. She doesn't. And Monica says, "So you don't want to be there at all?" Anita says it's quality time that matters. She doesn't want to be in pain when hugging her husband, laughing without gritting her teeth in pain. She wants to sing at her granddaughter's wedding. And she also says something about being there for Samantha's cotillion. Monica says, "And this too shall pass. Would it be worth today's pain if you could have more time?" And she is Anita Dupree. She has built her life on defying every rule. She has broken every barrier, and everything fell in place. And she is being used as an exception to the rule. Anita says cancer doesn't carry your name. And Monica says they are trying to give her more time, but she needs to give them the opportunity to find the right medicine and treatment. And this is the time for her not to give up. Anita says, but there's no guarantees. Monica tells her she will have a chance, and she bets on Anita. Vernon comes back in to check on them. Monica leaves, Monica leaves them to talk, and then Vernon tells her that the girls are here, and then they want to hug her, but she says she needs to talk to him before they come in, and she tells him she made a decision about her future, and that's how the episode ends. So this was a really good episode. Again, um, a lot of it was very sad. All of the Anita scenes was sad. Anita talking to Monica was sad. Vernon talking with his girls and him just like being so lost was sad. Kat even talking to Tomas was sad. Like, yeah, all of it was sad. It was a good episode. I liked it. But make sure you guys are liking, subscribing, and turning on your post notifications so you'll know whenever I post. Get down in the comments, tell me what you guys thought of this episode, and I will see you guys in the next one.